A message to the praying church, Dutch Sheets, Colorado Springs, Colorado. I have often encouraged believers to judge what God is doing in America, not by what they see or hear naturally, but by discerning spiritually. Elijah saw and heard drought-breaking rain, the sign of God's favor returning to Israel, before there was even a cloud in the sky. See 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 41. Likewise, in today's America, the moral depravity and staggering departure from God and our Christian roots can easily mask to the undiscerning what He is doing. Be assured, however, America's turnaround is in full swing. A huge and surprising sign was given to us 3 years ago when God began using one of the most unlikely men in America to trumpet 2 political messages: drain the swamp and make America great again. I would have chosen an individual with a great moral background, sound theology, a worshiping heart, and deep humility. God chose Donald J. Trump, and it has been oh so refreshing to watch him buck the system and expose the evil agendas of Washington, D.C. The far left, the deep state and, yes, the kingdom of darkness all hate him. 2020, God's hinge year. Why was Trump's election so angering to them? There has been a satanically inspired and successful effort for 60 to 70 years, through government, media, education and entertainment, to reshape America, turning us from our Christian roots and God-given destiny. Yahweh's purpose for America is to be the leading voice of the gospel around the world. This, probably unbeknownst to POTUS, is America's true greatness, not our wealth. Trump's win interrupted Satan's momentum and is now reversing this demonic reshaping. His policies will continue to do so. POTUS federal judges and Supreme Court appointments alone, with more coming, have been an immeasurable setback to the left's agenda. Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi recently said of Trump, "We can withstand one term. But the destruction he would do to the courts in our country, if he is given 4 more years, he must be defeated." She and her far-left allies were nearly rabid with anger and hatred at the 2020 State of the Union address, and their farcical impeachment trial was pathetic enough to be laughable. They know their agenda is being thwarted and they are furious. God's divine reversal isn't finished, however. The exposing of evil will continue, as will the turnaround. This year, 2020, is the hinge year. The door into America's great revival and resurrection will swing fully open this year, if we, the praying church, persist. And we will. Photo via free design. The rope climb and the Liberty Bell. An encouraging vision was sent to me from someone else a few weeks back, which makes clear the significance of 2020. Suddenly I was taken into a vision. In this vision, I saw you, Dutch Sheets, climbing a large, thick rope. You were wearing a letterman or varsity jacket, similar to those worn in the past by school athletes to identify them with the team for which they played. The letter on your jacket was K and stood for, represented kingdom. The rope you were climbing was very long, and it had several knots tied in it. I noticed the knots were strategically placed for your climb, for it was at each of these knots where you would begin to look very tired and almost at the point of being unable to continue. At exactly those points, however, there would be one of the huge knots, giving you a place of rest and reprieve. You were able, then, to get a fresh grip on the rope and a second wind to continue the climb. There were numbers on the knots, which represented years. One was 1978, another was 1985, then 1995, .2004, .2008, .2010, 2016 and lastly 2019. I don't know the exact significance of those specific years, but I knew that at some point during each one, God had done something major and timely in or for you, strengthening and empowering you to continue the climb. Note, I, Dutch, know what each year represents. At the top of the rope was a large bell, which looked like the Liberty Bell. Written on it was the United States of America, and 2020 was inscribed beneath those words. Nearing the top of the rope you made a huge stretch and, with all the strength you had, reached for a string attached to the clapper of the bell. Just barely reaching it, you took the string with your fingertips and rang the bell. Though it seemed you barely rang it, the sound coming out of the bell was deafening. And I could see sound waves going out from it like ripples of water when a stone has been dropped into a lake. Photo via Unsplash. At that point, it was as if I were zoomed out and my view widened, enabling me to see that the sound waves from the ringing bell were swiftly traveling all across America, causing a movement in the land, not an earthquake, but a noticeable, tangible movement. I then heard a loud voice from heaven declaring, "Now, I have gotten your attention. America, you have been saved by the bell." That was the end of the vision. When I awoke, I knew several things immediately regarding the vision. 1. The ringing of the bell was associated with prayer. 2. The phrase, "saved by the bell," meant that something was stopped in just the nick of time. What could have happened, and what was intended by evil forces to happen, could not happen now because the ringing of the bell had stopped it. 3. I also understood that, although the bell was at the top of the rope, this wasn't an ending. It was a transition into a new era. The climb got us here, the reach in prayer has caused movement, and now the movement will broaden. It is awakening. Mature, varsity intercessors have prevailed. Moving forward, the ecclesia's finest hour will be seen. Satan's carefully planned agenda will be stopped. The first ringing of the Liberty Bell in 1776 marked America's birth. Today's ringing will mark our rebirth. Listen for the sound, America shall be saved. Keep praying, church. Please don't miss our emerging and newly found prophets. Subscribe here. Dutch Sheets Ministries email, click here website, www.dutchsheets.org. Dutch Sheets is an internationally recognized author, gifted teacher and conference speaker. He travels extensively, challenging believers for passionate prayer and societal reformation. Seeing America experience a sweeping revival and return to its godly heritage is Dutch's greatest passion. He is a messenger of hope for America, encouraging believers to contend for awakening. Dutch has written over 23 books, many of which have been translated into over 30 languages. His international bestseller, Intercessory Prayer, has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. Dutch has pastored, taught in several colleges and seminaries, and served on the board of directors of numerous organizations. He is fondly known to many as Papa Dutch, treasuring time spent with their family and grandchildren. Dutch and Tressy, his wife of over 39 years, enjoy quiet walks in the woods, reading, and playing a little golf. They reside at the base of the beautiful Rocky Mountains. To receive more words like this in your inbox, subscribe free to the Elijah List at this link https://elijahlist.com/subscribe.